Now, would you like to know the secret to getting rich?
Of course.
Of course! Okay, so here it is. Are you ready? You might want to write this down. Okay, so it's earn more than you spend, or let's put that a different way. Spend less than you earn. Does that make sense? Spend less than you earn and invest the difference. Now, let's talk about how we can increase wealth. Where is our wealth coming from? Our wealth, oh, that's a piss poor marker. Okay, our wealth comes from our investments. So we want our investments to go up. Now, there are two ways we can increase the amount that we have to invest. First of all, we could earn more. Anybody here work an hourly job? How can you earn more? Work more hours, right? And this is what my dad would always do down at the dynamite plant. Anytime there was overtime, man, he was there, right? But you're limited by two things: your hourly rate and your physical exhaustion, right? I've worked 72-hour weeks before and was making money like crazy. But I was worn smooth out. I had no time to spend that money. Okay. On the other hand, we can talk about spending. What can we do with our spending?
Spend less.
Yeah, we can spend less. Oh, by the way, let's talk a little bit more about earning here. So if I am limited by my hours, there are a couple of things I can do. Number one, you can, oh, for shame, she's late. Okay, you can get additional education, right? I was making $3.65 as a grocery sacker when I graduated high school. I went for more education and got my first job as an engineer in 1994, and I was now making, let's put it in hourly terms, so I was making around $19 an hour, so that's like a big improvement. And then I got my MBA, and you basically double that, right? So I invested in education, and that was how I increased my earnings. The other way is that you have to be willing to move. My dad was a sharp guy, but he wanted to be in that town, right? And so he wasn't willing to get extra education because there weren't jobs for that there, or he wasn't willing to move away, right? And so I looked at all this and I said, you know, I really enjoy air conditioning, which would be under spending. By the way, I grew up without air conditioning or remote control on the freaking TV. I'm like, yeah, I want that, right? And so I decided I've got to go away for education so I can earn more. Now let's talk about spending less. Look at what you're spending on. Remember we talked about non-value add things that people spend money on? What do you think, like Doge? What are they looking at? They're looking at those non-value add costs, right? So go through your life and look for those. So that's how you can get rich. Is it going to happen overnight? No, this has to be a consistent thing. And when should you start?
As soon as possible.
Yeah, as soon as possible. And here's the trick. You guys right now are probably making somewhere between jack and squat, right? You're used to being poor. And so when you get that first job, you're gonna have way more money than you even can contemplate what to do with. Here's the trick. As soon as you can, max out your 401k, max out your investments, because you will never miss that money, right? Because you're poor. Now, trade off that crappy car, do something for yourself, right? But still, get started on that when you won't miss the money. Do you think it's good to like wait 5 years and get used to living a really great lifestyle and then start investing and saving? No, because you're gonna, it's a bad deal. Okay, questions? Today, we're going to talk about the secret to picking stocks. Would you like to know the secret to picking stocks? Can anybody guess what the secret to picking stocks is? Yeah, you're getting close. So the answer is don't do it, right? Don't do it. Yeah, buy the index. If you didn't learn that in chapter 11, hopefully you learn it today. Don't do that stuff. It's so funny, because I'll teach that chapter and then students come to my office and they're like, I want to talk to you about investing. I'm like, you don't already know the answer? Buy the index. If you have to go out and buy something, oh, by the way, and here's the other thing. It's put the same amount of money in every month And sometimes it buys you more, and sometimes it buys you less, right? And then only check your balances like once a year. Because as of late, if you've been checking your balances on a daily basis, what would you have done? Crapped your pants, right? And then you have extra laundry. So I check mine once a year, and that's it. And I sleep really well. Now, here's the thing. Don't put any money into the stock market that you need in the short term, right? Because we've got all this risk. Any money you need in the short term, you should have in something more secure. And that's why we say the closer you get to retirement, the less you should have in stocks and the more you should have in bonds and things like that. Would you like to know the secret to enjoying vacations? Pay for everything up front. I'm not kidding. My wife and I used to take these European trips where we would do it all, we'd arrange all of our stuff. And then we get, you spend the money on the airplane, you get there, but then everything that comes up, you have to make your decision on how much you're going to spend. And it really eats into the joy of the vacation. So if you can find a way to vacation to pay for everything up front, like we took a cruise back in October, and that was really great because I didn't have to think about, so there was no worry about spending, thinking about spending money on the trip. Now, is it more expensive? Yes. But we're paying for a trip right now for the summer of 2026. It'll be totally paid for before this year's even out. And so at that point, oh, for shame, she's a little late. This is becoming a habit, not a good one. Okay, so anyway, by the time we go, we won't have had to think about that at all.